Howdy, 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 and welcome to the Red Dirt Aggie Show. I'm Bryan, the Red Dirt Aggie. That over there is Keaton Kyzar. What's going on, man?
Oh, not a whole lot, man. Another day at work, another day playing some music, hopefully soon.
Right
Just
on,
a
right on.
perfect balance of a full time job and full time musician never gets old.
Well, yeah, I mean, and we talked a little bit before we got on here, and you said you've been staying real busy lately, huh?
Yeah, well, every Friday, Saturday almost, going from Houston to anywhere from all the way from Houston up to San Angelo. We're covering all of it, man. It's crazy.
Hell yeah, all across the state. There's plenty of venues. There's plenty of places to play.
Already blew my truck engine a few months ago for it too. Oh
Oh
man.
no, then that's something else you got to pay for, right?
Dude, I don't. Money is not on my mind right now. I just don't even want to think about it. It's not there.
Just keep playing music and stay on that grind, and then
Yep.
that's what you got to focus on right
Keep
now.
paying. Keep trying to pay the bills.
Hey, but there's got to be a song in there somewhere, right? Trucks breaking
Oh,
down, blowing out engines on the road all the time. That's
it's
got to
in
be
the
music
works
somewhere.
already. It's already in the works,
Well,
dude.
that's
That's what's crazy about songwriting. It's us, the song, and I'm sure a lot of them that have been on this show with you before, just out there listening. The simplest things. I mean, I could be talking to somebody, a stranger in the street of Austin's, and they say one thing, and it's like, ooh, that's a song right there. And you go home and you write it. It's
something could
pretty
sound
crazy.
nice or a word or something, and that's Brandon Ryder. I had him on a while back. He's a character. He's got a lot of stories and stuff, but his perspective on songwriting was unique. He's like, I'll just be driving down the highway and like think of words and stuff, and then all of a sudden, like next thing I know, I'm writing a song. Like,
Yeah.
it starts simple, and then you think about it.
It's the
You over.
same way for me, and honestly, to everybody I may have accidentally hit going down the county roads around here. I'm sorry, but I'm writing a song if I start swerving on the roads. I'm the same way. If I don't do it, then I will forget, and it'll never get written. So, if anybody ever saw me almost hit you, and you're watching, I'm sorry.
Well, and I'm actually met you up at Proof and Cooper's in Johnson City, Texas, when you were
Yes,
playing
sir.
up there that night. But why don't you take a second, and just kind of introduce yourself? Where are you from, originally, and like what kind of got you into music or inspired you to want to become a
Yeah,
musician?
man. So originally born and raised, I was born in Denison, Texas, which is, I mean, it's right there on the Red River.
Uh-huh.
Um, Growing up as a kid, my dad was in the oil field, so he's and to this day he still works his ass off. Monday through Thursday, he's going off at work, and mom was always a hairdresser. But when I was a kid, I was they were always taking me to dance halls, and just grew up listening to country music, and I didn't know who everybody was. The only person I knew was George Strait, and quite frankly, I think I could be filed as identity fraud for telling everybody as a kid I was George Strait. But I actually dressed up as him one time, and I told the guy I was George Strait one time. But yeah, but growing up listening to music, man, it just always spoke to me. Fast forward on to sixth grade, it's where I learned to play guitar, just playing your simple DGA, your three chords and a truth. But I never
Right.
could sing, never could sing, and I tried for years to at least carry some kind of tune in a bucket. Over the years, I grew closer with God. With the Lord, and He plays a huge role to where I'm at now.
Right.
Dude, 2 years ago I couldn't sing, and respectfully, my mom would always tell me, "Quit trying. You can't teach yourself to sing in a loving way." And I'd always told her, "So, Mom, I want to teach myself one of these days." And went to bed one night, woke up the next morning, and I was trying again. And all of a sudden, my mom's videoing this song, and it was just like went to bed one night with no voice, and woke up the next morning with something, and I
Yeah.
ran with it, man. I absolutely ran with it. But I think a lot of it, the trying and not giving up on it.
Yeah.
My dad always taught me, just like a lot of guys, when you want something so bad, don't stop until you crash. You know, and
Yeah.
that's exactly what I did. I grew up around the music. I knew that's what I wanted to do one day. I never knew I was going to get the chance to do it.
Right. And that's
Man, it
it's a
kind of
dream.
chokes me up sometimes to talk about it because I don't think I would be where I am if it weren't for the man upstairs.
Well, absolutely. I don't
You
think
know,
I don't think any of us would be where we are. I mean, it's
yeah,
all glory to God for sure.
that's all it is, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, originally North Texas, and somehow found my way down here. My family's actually from Mason. We were originated in Mason. My last name Kyzar, and
Hmm.
parents met each other in Fredericksburg, so just right down the road
Okay.
from here. But
Well, then
so
I'm actually, or
this is
go
kind of
ahead.
my home, you know.
Yeah, and I'm actually from in my parents as well, who were there with me that night at Proof and Cooper, and my wife. But we're actually all from down in Magnolia, Texas, about an hour north of
Okay.
Houston. But my
Yeah.
parents got some property up there recently, and they love it up there. They're gonna retire up there eventually. I think when they ended up getting a piece of land on top of like a hill or something like that. They want to build a
That's
house. They got all
awesome.
this plants up there, and I'm like, that's awesome. It's a cool place. It's that
It's
whole
pretty country.
area up there. Yeah,
Yeah.
like everything from it almost it has like it doesn't look like Texas, but it feels like Texas when you're there.
Oh, yeah. No,
I
I
don't know
know
how to
what you
explain
mean.
it other than that. Like you're like oh whoa, there's like hills that's different. Oh shoot,
Right.
cable again. That cable's been popping. That's what was bothering me earlier.
I
We'll
understand
shut
all
that
about
down.
it, man.
Yeah, well, it's like the thing I got to. I don't have like the fanciest equipment or anything by any means, but I would have to
Right.
get the podcast to make money first.
It's all about the budget builds. I understand what you're talking about.
Well, and I have like an adapter with like I have an XLR mic, but like an adapter to a little bitty jack that plugs into the mixer,
Okay.
and it's like cherry rigged up to work. However,
You're talking to a guy who buys all his shit on Amazon, man.
yeah, yeah, this all came from Amazon. Yeah, this
I
little
can't
kit.
afford that Guitar Center crap.
Yeah, no, this is like a kit. I can't afford all that like Roadcaster and like Pro
Right.
and Shure mics and like all that fancy stuff yet. But
Yeah, they're making it hard on musicians and everything these days.
yeah,
For
man.
sure.
But on that note, though, the podcast is trending up. So stay with us because we
Right.
are on the
Yeah,
rise.
man.
Uh, I
Seeing that.
partnered with I'm partnered with the Texas Country Music Association
Cool,
and
man.
Texas Country Network and with Zach United, the DJ from K-Star and my
That's
company,
awesome.
and we're trying to like make it be something more. So,
Right.
um, like
Congratulations. That's awesome, man.
thanks, man. But we're hoping to do some cool stuff, like go to some concerts, some festivals, get like live content and art. I'm gonna keep doing my interviews and stuff too,
Right.
like this kind of stuff. So we're
Shoot,
excited.
yeah.
Yeah. Um.
Good.
So what would you say? Is the hardest part of being a musician? Is it not giving up? When it gets tough, or is it something else
Well,
like the travel or what?
I mean, when your engine blows and you got to drop $13,000 is one hard thing, but the travel, man. I mean, for me, it's not that I find something that's the hardest,
Yeah.
just because like it's been a dream of mine. So now that I'm getting the chance to do it, nothing's really hard. You know what I mean? I don't try to see it as hard, but the hardest thing is traveling. I mean, you get used to traveling 3, 4, 5 hours to shows every weekend, and then you're away from family. Not all the time my girlfriend gets to go with me as much as I'd love her to go, but she's got a job too. So,
Right.
but the traveling is hard and trying to driving late night back home.
Yeah.
That's probably the hardest part about it, man. Really and truly, it's just sometimes you're driving, getting back home at 4 a.m. and you've been driving all night long just by yourself. So,
Well, yeah, and it's you have that that flipped schedule from everyone else where you're working
right,
all weekend, and then like you
right.
said, I'm sure that's difficult. You have a girlfriend and she probably has off on the weekend and works during the week, and then you're working on the
Oh yeah,
weekend, and
yeah.
you know,
Well, the other hard part about it too is you get back at 4 a.m. on a Sunday, then you can't sleep, and then you got to be at work at 7 a.m. the next morning too.
yeah,
It's
and
pretty hard. Yes.
oh for sure, and it's like that, I want this podcast and content creation and all this to be my career someday too. I want it to make enough money where I
Right.
can quit my day job. But I feel like it's like, I talk to a lot of musicians and stuff out here too, and it's the same thing. It's like, you know, you uh you, you have to. I guess you just have to keep doing both and make it work
Yeah.
as long as you can.
Yeah. One will eventually take it over itself. So
Yeah.
keep juggling until you find the one that works.
Yeah, man. And we talked about the hard part, but what's your absolute favorite part of creating music? Or what's your favorite part of
Playing,
being a
just
musician?
getting to play the music, man. I mean, for 2 years now, I've been a solo artist, and now I'm actually starting to build a band now. I got a drummer, got a guitarist. We're just looking for a bass player. So if you know any bass players, I'm looking. But one thing I've always told everybody is it a job? Yes. Am I making money? Yes. But I don't go on the stage looking at it as it's another day at work. It's so
Yeah,
much fun just getting to play the music, getting to play my songs, cover awesome artist songs like Aaron Watson. We've
yeah,
been doing this. One of my favorite parts of the show right now is we're playing an old school Aaron Watson tune called Reckless. We've been
yeah.
starting to show off every time, and it's just like getting to see everybody getting into it, and that's the coolest part about it. Just getting to play the music, the fun of it. You know what I mean?
Right, and yeah, and then just seeing that energy from the crowd like
Right.
reflect back at the band and you up there, with the energy, and it's
Even
got a
if
good
there's just
feeling.
one person sitting in front of me and that's all I got that night, it's still fun.
Yeah,
You know?
you're still up there playing music, even though there's
Yeah,
nobody
I
there. You're
mean,
still playing
it
music. It's like,
it beats sitting in a welding shop welding all damn day. I promise you that.
yeah, for sure. But you say we're talking about being on the road a lot. If you walk into a gas station, what's your go-to snack or your go-to drink?
Usually, it's gonna be a Rockstar Punched because
Uh
usually
huh.
I'm running low on fumes usually. But if it's gonna be a snack, call me a weirdo, but probably them Quick Trip hot dogs or pizzas, dude. You can't go wrong. You
The ones on the
cannot
little
go wrong.
rollers.
Yeah, on the
Yeah.
rollers, and they got that fresh like triple meat pizza sitting right there, and I can't resist. I'm a sucker for it every time.
And I think it's Quick Trip. They're the ones they have like other little like roller things too, don't they? Like different like
Oh,
varieties
like
of them.
taquitos and yeah,
Yeah, there's like
all that stuff,
taquitos and
brother.
like cheese and like different ones inside. They're pretty good.
Yeah,
They're sneaky good.
I'll be honest. Quick Trip probably has the best food of anywhere. I mean,
Bucky's is pretty elite.
like you can McDonald's, Burger King, and all that. I hate to say it, they ain't got nothing on Quick Trip's freaking gas station food, bro. Whataburger now it's a different category there, but can't go wrong with Whataburger. Whataburger beats that for sure,
Whataburger's so expensive now that it's almost not fast food anymore.
isn't it? It's
Yeah,
like,
they're going up in price. I
bro,
love Whataburger though. I got my sign up here. Sponsor me, right? But
yeah. I used to go to freaking after shows, man. I'd go get the honey butter chicken biscuits. Is every time you're leaving by like midnight, so I'd go get a couple honey butter chicken biscuits, some hash browns. I can't even afford it now, man.
yeah, it's nuts.
Oh,
So
man,
sure is good though.
man, I remember a little funny story if we're talking about Whataburger.
Oh yeah.
I think when I first started getting into this, I got a chance to open up for my friend Hayden Haydock over in Plano at Love and
Oh
More.
yeah.
And it was the
Good
first
ad.
time I got to go onto a bigger stage with a bigger crowd. So I was a nervous wreck, but of course my dad's like, "This is your first time, so I'm gonna come get you, and I'm gonna be your chauffeur. Everybody's coming with us." So we pile up in the truck and get there and all that. And I get sound checked, and we get done, and of course my dad's three sheets to the wind. I'm three sheets to the wind. Everybody's drunk except for my girlfriend. So my girlfriend's driving the truck, and we want Whataburger, and
Of
it's like
course, as you
3:30 in the
do.
morning. I got
Yeah.
done drinking with Hayden and Zach Gilbert. Zach and I have actually known each other for a little bit, kind of through some other friends, and we ended up waiting in the damn Whataburger line for 2.5 hours just to get three things. 1:30 in the morning, brother. It was the best wait for Whataburger I've ever had because we were all drunk and we were hungry. But I'll never wait that long again.
But it was worth it.
Dude, I think the whole
At the
population
time.
of
At
Plano,
the time.
Texas was at that Whataburger that night.
Oh man, that's funny.
Oh, yeah.
And we had Hayden on a while back. Hayden Haddock.
Yeah. Dude,
Yeah, I know, and he's a stand up guy. Good ag.
I've met a lot of guys. I mean, from John Wolf right here in my backyard one time, and I've opened
Yeah.
up for Josh Weathers, opened up for Johnny Cooper, opened up for some different people. But Hayden Haydock was probably my favorite one. Not just because it was the first time I got to get up on a stage and open up for somebody who's bigger,
Yeah.
but the kind of person he is, man.
Yeah, he's a good dude. He's
You
nice.
know, Hayden, if you're listening, brother, but I thought you were a lot taller. No offense, but he's a great guy. I mean, getting to sit down and talk with him, he gave me some good words of advice. He's very humble. He's a lot like what a musician should be. Like I try to go by. It's not work every day. As long as you're having fun, it's never a job. Every time he
Yeah.
hops up on the stage, he's having fun,
Hmm.
and I really did appreciate opening up for him, getting that opportunity. It grew me a lot because I've grown a lot as a musician since that day. But
Right.
Hayden is to me someone I look at when I try to look in my future and what I want to be. I want to be that guy that everybody likes. I don't
Right.
want to be that guy that nobody likes because he's headstrong or you got to keep a good head on you. You know what I mean? It's easy to get too caught up in all of it.
You got to stay, humble. Like, Cody Johnson's another example of someone like that.
Yes.
Stays humble, God first to like all that stuff.
And
You
that's
know.
a whole different playing field. We're talking about a whole different level of how easy it is to get caught up in it when you're where
Yeah.
Coach Johnson is.
Well, yeah, because he's national now.
Yeah, dude. I remember when I was in high school, he was still with normal Texas country guys, and now it's like, whoa, bro.
Yeah. Well, it was funny because he won. I think it was like a year ago, maybe 2 years now, but he won like new country artist of the
I
year or
know.
something, and everyone's like, he's been around for like 10, 15 years. What do you mean new?
Right.
In Texas, if you're from
He-
Texas, you're like, he's not new.
no, yeah, he's not
He's
new
one of the
at
old
all.
ones.
Oh man, I still dig his old jams too.
1 second, I gotta let my dog in here. He's scratching at my
Go
door.
for it. Surprised mine isn't scratching up yet. What's his name?
His name's Frankie. Yeah. Say hi, Frankie. You're on the podcast. This is your like few seconds of fame here. He'll probably be a TikTok or something. Well, let me get the notes. Hey, Bubba. I know you're just lonely because mom's not here right now. Okay, so here's one for you. The beans belong to Chili.
Man, sorry, mom. No, they don't. You know, I mom. Personally, we eat them with chili, but I don't think they really belong. Not in Texas, at least.
Yeah, so they say no beans in Texas chili. They say all that unless you're Rich O'Toole, and he says they do.
Right.
I'm like, I'll eat it either way.
I mean, personally, I'm gonna be
It's
honest.
pretty good. It's
I
pretty
like the
good with
beans
beans.
with the chili, but I don't
Yeah,
think it should be with the chili. Is it really chili if it has beans in Texas? No, but secret safe. I'm gonna eat it with beans every time.
he keeps licking me, and he's like, oh my god. He's like, very.
Two beans going chili.
Man, all right. Damn. Damn. He's like, no, I'm good, bro. Now, don't you dare go scratch at the door to get out of here. You already interrupted the show twice. What is your favorite song of yours?
Man, I don't know. I got a few. My favorite one that's out right now that I've written is "Roll with Me." But
Uh huh.
if I had to have a favorite, I have my favorite one right now is one that I actually just wrote a few weeks ago. It's called Fast Lane. It's a song that I wrote about my mom growing up, the things she would say, and how it kind of molded me to the person and the man I am today. That's probably my favorite, and I'm hoping to go record that one soon. I don't know when. I don't know when I have time to go even hit the studio right now. But looking at maybe doing an EP, like a little 5-song EPs coming out maybe in the future, putting that one on it.
If you're looking for a studio, I know one in College Station that's decent. Colburn Audio,
Cool.
with Kyle Colburn, so I can put you in touch with him. I mean,
Cool.
he's a great dude.
I got a
He's who Montana was using.
I got a producer here that's right up the road.
Yeah.
I've been living here 12 years and didn't know he was even here, but his name is Roland Weary. He actually came from a big time place in Chicago. He was a mixing engineer and he did some producing here and there. Moved down here
Yeah.
like 3 years ago, and the dude's got like 6 Grammys for mixing engineer.
Well,
And
dang.
one of them, I think one of them's with John Legend. And he's got me on like a hell of a freaking discount price. So I'm just like, it's honestly like me and him are actually really close buddies now. I've recorded 2 songs with him, and we're hopefully going to get back in there soon. But it's a hell of a time. I mean, it's pretty one on one, and we work
Oh yeah.
together. So it's really cool stuff, man. But I'm not opposed.
Well, yeah, and
I'm on no contract with him. So if I want to go cut a song somewhere else, he ain't gonna care. So
yeah, and that's part of the benefit of being, I guess, independent too.
right,
You go wherever
right.
you want, do what you want.
There ain't no contracts yet. So
You can release your song about being a chicken farmer like Go Wetzel.
well, I don't raise any chickens.
There was a chicken farm.
yeah.
But it's like that's him like singing opera too, isn't it? I mean, that's nuts. 'Cause the first time I like heard that on there, I'm like, oh, that's probably not him singing. But then I'm like, wait a minute.
Dude, wait, speaking of that, it's code day, ain't it? Oh,
Oh
my
yeah, it's
God.
Go Wetzel Day.
I
Thanks for
forgot
Taco
a
Bell.
national holiday. Sorry, guys. Whoops.
Yeah, I had posted an old picture from like 6 years ago now, I guess. Dang, because it's 2020. Back in 2018 or 2019 or something, it was me and Co at San Marcos at Cheatham Street warehouse.
That's pretty cool.
Did like a little private, like 3 or 4 song set in there before he did his big show outside, and
Awesome.
it was early in the morning, or I guess it was like 10 or 11, which is probably early for Co at that point in time, and he came out
Right.
with shades on. He's like, "Sorry, I'm really hungover." He just like, and then you expected him to sound like shit or something because he's like, but he just like starts like playing his guitar and he looks like he's about to be sick or something, but then he just like starts playing and it's like sounds beautiful. It's singing acoustic. I'm just like, oh my god, like he's
Like
an
it just
animal.
kicked in
Like
real quick.
just like they just like kicked him into his ear. Whatever works.
That's awesome.
Drink your Pedialyte and get after it.
Oh man, isn't that the
But
truth?
yeah, man, Co's and Co is just he's absolutely blown up now. You know, him and Parker
Yeah,
were the ones that when I was in college that I got to see. You know, all the way from the beginning all the way to now. But
right.
you know, back in 2015, watching Parker open for Josh Abbott band, and then now, and I love Josh Abbott too. Those guys are
Dude,
awesome. But
that's another guy that's kind of blown up is Parker. I mean,
yeah,
I remember the
yeah,
first time I watched him, he just came out with "I Can't Breathe" album, or
yeah,
the was it Probably Wrong album or something like that. And I saw him at the Nutty
yeah.
Brown Amphitheater over here in Dripping Springs, and I saw
Oh yeah,
him, William Clark Green, and Randy Rogers in that one night. And then it's like
yeah,
I went to bed one night and woke up, and now I just saw him at the Frostbank Center just a few weeks ago.
yeah.
It's like, whoa, bro, you know, like damn, where'd you go? You know?
Yeah, I saw him in 20s playing for like I think there were maybe 100 people there to see him, and then everybody else was showing up later for Josh Abbott. Probably Wrong wasn't even out yet, and
Yeah,
I didn't know who he was at the time. I showed up to see Josh Abbott, but I remember leaving and being like, that guy was good. Like that's one of
yeah,
the sometimes you go
dude,
and you're
he's
like, oh
damn
really,
good.
but like it's like yeah and then just kind of like followed along with him. I mean, that's probably the artist that shows just because he was always coming back to Harry's
Yeah,
and College Station. But yeah, that's College Station's where I fell in love with the whole music.
bro. But you had him on the show too. How long ago?
Yeah,
Oh, that
that
was
that
pretty
was
cool.
that was pretty cool. Yeah, I don't know how. Well, I do know how I got him. I annoyed the hell out of him on Twitter. I had tagged him every day, like one of those things, like day 12 of tagging Parker McCollum until he comes on the podcast, and then finally he replies one day and he's like, "All right, I'll do
That's funny you say that because that's very similar to how I book all these venues. If they don't answer, you remember back in middle
it."
school, we had that one crush and we'd annoy the hell out of them until maybe they finally give us a peck on the cheek. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Well, I'm
yeah,
the same way with these venues. If they don't answer in 2 days, I'm sending them the same message and the same live music videos over and over until finally I get an answer, and it's either no or yes.
yeah.
So
Just keep
sometimes it works.
following up.
Oh yeah, it
And
works.
that's what I'm trying to. I'm trying to book Montana shows too, and I think I need to follow up more because it's like, or just go meet them in person, the ones that are close by.
Either way,
Might be easier.
yeah. Like I booked this one. It's in Three Rivers. It's a pretty cool. It's an old like cafe, but in the back they have like a full like it's an old dance hall. It's
Yeah,
pretty sweet, man. And I've sent them message after message after message, and I don't remember where I was coming. I was coming back from a show somewhere near Corpus, I think, and me and my girlfriend were just trucking along. And was like, "Hey, we're gonna take a little detour." She's like, "Huh?" I said, "I need to go talk to this venue." And I walked in there. They're like, "Oh, we hadn't even seen you here. We'll get you down." I'm like, "Cool." Went on home. That'll be cool. That's gonna be a fun weekend because I got a lot of friends like in Hondo and all that. Be playing Three Rivers that Friday night, and then I'm going up to Divine the next day. Just another little hour shot over to the west from there. That'll be
yeah.
be a good time. But trying to get out to
But
College Station to come see all y'all. I got some friends over there too. So
well, yeah, and I have when we get off here, I'll let you know. I have some contacts of some people in College Station and like lists of venues and stuff, and I'll talk to you about it when we get off of here. But the three big ones over there, the more difficult ones to get into would be the Tap, Shiner Park, and then Harry's. But
right,
more than likely, you would play some of the smaller places first, and then try to then usually the progression would be to go get into the Tap and then try to get either Shiner or Harry's. But Harry's is your,
right,
your big one.
right, real big.
Unless you're Cody Johnson who comes and plays at the Wolf. But those are all your big venues up there, and then there's
Right.
there's a lot of smaller ones. Though there's hotels and there's different bars and stuff too.
Yes, sir.
But what's maybe the craziest thing you've seen while you've been out on the road doing a lot of traveling and stuff? If you're
Man,
willing to share.
I didn't have a crazy story. I was kind of hoping you were going to ask this one. So back in, I think it was January, I went and played a duo show at a place called Polecats in Seguin. And like Braxton Keith has ran through there before. I mean, there's been some pretty good names that run through there. And it's like one
Sure.
of those low ceiling dance halls. and like a biker gang type bar. But then you got all the old couples and the college kids that come in and dance and shit. It was a great
Yeah.
night, awesome time. When we're breaking down the equipment, we're loading up the truck, and all of a sudden the bartender comes out talking shit to this dude, and I'm like, oh no. So we're kind of just like, what do we do? We're sitting in the truck, just loading equipment up. And apparently this dude got some shit, and that bartender just hit him straight in the jaw. I go, oh my god! I'm like, what is going on? She turns around like, yo, get him. I'm like, yeah, I'm about to bring my phone out. Like, what is going on? And this dude just on the ground asleep. I'm like, he just got his ass kicked by a woman. I don't even know what he did. Like, he was too drunk and said something. I don't know. But I just like throw my speakers in the truck, and I look around. All of a sudden, I see her like this. Whoa! I'm like, that's about the funniest thing I've ever seen at a show. I mean, there hadn't been a whole lot of crazy stuff. I hadn't got myself in trouble too much yet, but
That's
but that was pretty
good.
funny to watch.
Like clobbered.
Yeah, like don't mess with women like that. I
No,
learned
yeah,
I learned a
yeah.
lesson that night. Don't talk shit to women, which a man never should. You know what I mean?
Oh
But
no, yeah, you get married, you learn that real quick too. Happy
yeah,
wife, happy life.
I've always
But
I've always told my family. I mean, you go. I mean, I'm kind of like Parker. I'm kind of like Cody Johnson. Like if you're gonna come in and disrespect a woman while I'm playing, you'll be escorted out. I don't stand for that. But when the
yeah,
woman
no.
wants to hit you, you can stay all night, buddy, because you may have deserved that. I
Oh
mean,
yeah,
oh, I wish I would have
He
seen.
definitely did something. You know what I
I
mean?
kind of wanted to
Bartenders are
see the
tough out
aftermath
there.
pictures the next morning.
Well, it's like if the bartender followed him outside, it must have been pretty bad whatever he did, right? Because it's like she's already
Oh
left the
yeah,
establishment. If she's coming out there to continue to like get after him, he did something, that he wasn't supposed to.
I think what I could be wrong about this, and I'm going back there. I think in a couple weeks, but I
Yeah,
think what happened is he got too drunk. He did. I don't know. He did something, and he was kicked out, and then he came back in. Because I remember he left, and then he came back in while I was playing, and then
get
he
bad.
left again, and then he tried to go back in when I was setting or breaking down my equipment, and trying to get it loaded up, and that's when he got hit.
If you get asked to leave, you should probably leave.
Yeah,
The
you
first
should
time.
probably just go.
And then if you get a
learn
second
learn
chance
your
and have
lesson,
to leave
folks.
again and you leave, you definitely should go back in a second time.
Lessons
Well,
being learned on this show tonight.
well, she literally bounced him from the club. Maybe she was the
Oh
bouncer.
yeah, I'll be
She
laughing
literally
if I see him come back in a couple of weeks.
like,
That'd be
there's the
funny.
guy.
Oh my gosh, kick him out!
Yeah, he'd be up on stage. Isn't that the guy who got punched in the face by a woman last time?
I'm
Oh
gonna be
man.
honest. I don't want to mess with this woman either. When I saw her too, I
No,
was like,
yeah,
I hope
no,
I have any problems with
absolutely
you
not.
tonight.
Oh man.
Oh man,
But
good times.
and you speak of unique venues like that, those little hole in the wall places. But what are what are some of your favorite venues that you've had the chance to perform at so far, and
Man,
goals for the future?
there's a couple. There's a couple that are my favorite. So there's this one in Columbus. Well,
Mm-hmm.
first off, the Rice or the Ranch Saloon in Rice, Texas, which is over there in between Corsicana and Ennis. I got the chance to open up for actually he's one of my best friends now, about 6 years. His name is Chaser Crouch, and we did his birthday bash show over there, and that's one. And Randy Rogers just played there, I think, last weekend. Randy Rogers
That's
and
cool.
Hayden Haydock opened up for him over there.
Yeah.
That's a cool place, man. It was pretty cool to even get the chance to go up there and open up. But on the side note of that, if we're talking like hole in the wall or just cool venues, probably one of the favorite ones that I've rolled through yet is called the Old 300 Saloon in Columbus. And dude, let me tell you, it's got history. It's got history. So it's like on the main strip drag of Columbus, Texas.
Right.
And it's like this underground stage. So you walk through the front doors and you kind of go through a tunnel, and you got like high rise. The bar top is up top, and you go down a
Uh
set
huh.
of stairs, and then you got the concrete dance floor, and then you got the, like old stage. And I got the chance to talk to the owner before I got on stage and all that. And so way back when, it was the first like the one act play theater. That's where like all the drama plays were and
Oh
everything.
yeah. Yeah.
And then apparently someone got shot. Like an Abraham Lincoln like show just came live in that certain building. And
Yeah.
then a couple days after that, it burned down for the first time. And then they said years later, it turned into one of the first movie theaters in Texas. And like the old projector room is still up top in the place. And like
Yeah.
on the stage, the coolest thing about it is there was like three people shot. There was two more shot apparently after that. I could be wrong. My facts could be a little bit off here. It's been a while since I was there. But on the backdrop of the stage is the old like projector like black screen, like the old canvas screens, and you can actually
Right.
see three holes in it. Like it's crazy, man. And like they
Yeah.
got the old curtains. I mean, you walk on the stage and the wood just creaks. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like old history, you know. And then it was a movie
And yeah,
theater.
like
I think it said for about like 5 years or something like that. And then it burned down a second time. And then it went vacant up until I think like 2 or 3 years ago. And
yeah.
these new owners came in and remodeled it and turned it into a whiskey bar and like live
Right.
music venue. And they've had Jesse Robb come through there. Parker
Oh yeah,
Ryan has gone through there,
he's
and
from around here.
that's probably one of the favorite places I've played. I mean, you go down there and it's kind of underground a little bit, but it's like underground above ground, almost like an underground dugout. You know, like it's not underground, but it
Yeah.
is. You know what I mean? And the acoustics inside that place, like you don't even need a system to play there. It's crazy, and it's just cool. It's very. You walk in there and you're like, damn, this place got history. You know what I mean?
And that's how Henry's is right over here.
Right.
The place has been there, I think around 100 years, very close to 100 years.
Wow.
They claim they're the second oldest dance hall behind Green Hall, um,
Oh wow,
and
that's pretty cool.
it hasn't been continuously operating, I guess, though, because they've been vacant a couple of different times. It's such a big building that I guess rent was, but they have, it's nicknamed the horniest place in Texas, and they have deer antlers on the ceiling. In like, I'm 6'6", I'm a tall guy. Like some of them, like, will almost poke you in the head. You're walking
They're
through
on the
there when you
ceiling.
first walk in. Yeah, they're like there's antlers all in the ceiling, and there's like more things on the wall in that place than you will see anywhere at any other bar. Just like eclectic, like so much stuff, like
That's cool
and
though.
bearskin rugs and like just like all sorts of stuff. You first walk
Man,
in, like every kind of thing, animal that could be hunted is like mounted in there somewhere. And there's like some pool tables and stuff. You first walk in, and then they got the bar top, a couple TVs and stuff. But then you walk into the back, and it's a huge dance hall back there, and they have
oh
DJ
wow,
booth. They have a stage with a riser for drum. So it's
that's
a
cool.
but they have the possibility to have two or three different artists playing there eventually. And I've talked with the owner a bunch, and he's like, I want this to be more of a music venue than just a bar because we have all of this
Yeah,
space to like use.
yeah.
And he's
If
like,
you
you
got
can
all
have
that
people
space,
playing
might as well use it.
acoustic. Yeah, he's like, you can have an acoustic show up here by the antlers. He goes, then you have full band shows in the back in the dance hall, and he goes, we can even have people out on the porch eventually. I want to build a stage. It's sweet.
Heck
You go
yeah,
in there and you get that vibe like you're talking about, where there's history there, and there's
yeah.
some crazy stories from in there from back in the day too. And
Dude, I love
the
those
tr-
places like that.
yeah,
It's all the places that all the city folks would be like, to go in there and start you, and it's
yeah.
just like, this is my home, bro. Like this is where I feel everything that I sing, and I love places like that. Lukenbach
Well,
is another one. Hell, Lukenbach's 30 minutes
yeah,
from the house over here, and I go out there kind of pretty often on Sundays, and you got a picker circle and just go out there
yeah.
and hang out.
Yeah, and they're that's they're kind of trying to start those type of things over here at Henry's too. Like they picker circles they've started doing on Sundays now, and
Cool.
they got good food there too. They have a three-fourths pound burger,
Good.
and yeah, good lord, right? You
All
get it, and
right.
you're like, oh my god, can I eat all this at once? Like
Can I
it's
just get
loud.
half of that before my show?
Montana ate that whole thing before a show, and I was like, you sure? You're not gonna have to like take a shit in the middle of your set?
Yeah.
But
Cool,
I mean, to be fair, we'd been there for a while. He's probably starving to put that thing away, and I was like, man, I don't think I can finish that. He's
oh man.
man, it's funny. But yeah, that place is cool over there, man. If you get the chance I hope you get the chance to play there.
Yeah, I'd
For
love to
sure.
come, man.
But even if you don't get to play there right away, it's a cool place just to stop in if you're ever near here.
Yeah.
But you mentioned Jesse Robb Jr. too. He's
Hmm.
from right here in Old Magnolia, where I live.
Yeah.
Actually, I know I met his mom one day. She owns Kitty's Cafe, which is like right down the road from me.
Awesome.
She was talking because I think I had on some hat, and she thought it was a Cody Johnson hat, but it wasn't. So then she started telling me about how her son was like really good friends with Cody Johnson, and we're like, "Oh, who's your son?" She told us, she's like, and apparently how Cody Johnson like helped Jesse Robb Jr. get on the right path and like find
Right.
God and like all of this stuff, and basically she told us her life story and everything. But she's a sweet lady. Jesse Robb is someone who I'd love to have on our show sometime too, and Cody
He's.
Johnson, all those
I've heard
guys.
he's a
But
great.
yeah, and he plays shows around here a lot because he's
That's
a
cool.
local. Him and Trent Cowie play around here a lot.
Yeah.
And Trent just actually played over at Henry's too. But
That's all.
yeah, man. Uh, and that area where up there in Johnson City and all that, really that triangle between like San Antonio, New Braunfels, like the whole like area up there in the hill country. Like, there's a lot of country musicians that live up there at some point.
Yeah.
That's what
Actually,
I
I
seem
mean,
to
believe
hear.
Parker McCollum actually lives right in Bulverde. I mean, and
Yeah,
John Wolf too. Me and my girlfriend were actually at a place in Spring Branch not that long ago. I've played there a few times. We'll go out there and drink a few beers or whatever and hang out. And I'm sitting down, I'm talking with the booking manager, hadn't seen me in a while, and he runs off and goes see some of his other friends. And I see him like, "Hey, everybody, meet John Wolf." And I turn around and I'm like, "Look at him! Is that?" He's like, "Yeah, get over here." So I walk up and he introduced myself, and I'm like, "There's no freaking way." And John's like, "You're an artist too?" I said, "Yeah." He's like, "Cool, let's go over here and talk." So we went and sat down at the table, and me and my girlfriend were at, and I mean, for like an hour and 15 minutes or so, we're just sitting there talking and just chatting over a few beers, and great
yeah.
dude. But yeah, they all look. It's pretty cool. They're just right in my backyard.
Well, and it's funny, it's a good location to be, I guess, because there's all those. You're pretty close to a lot of major cities and recording
Yeah.
studios and whatever else. But with Austin not being too far away, with San Antonio not being that far away,
Right.
you're kind of in the middle of all of them. You're maybe 2 or 3 hours from.
But and honestly, man, I prefer to travel. I mean, we'll be honest. Austin and San Antonio is hard to get into in general
Well, yeah,
to play music. Like it's easier for me to go out and travel to Houston or San Angelo and go book all these places that have just as much of a following as anywhere in Austin or San Antonio does. But for me, I
yeah,
would prefer to do that because you know how much thinking you can do on a 3 hour drive. You know what I mean? It's just you, or maybe your
yeah,
bandmates in the truck, and y'all are just sitting there talking. I mean, it's memories, it's
yeah.
laughs, good times. You get to see country and might even write a song or two, on the way there and back.
Well, yeah, and it's somewhere new, and then you're building your influence somewhere else. You
Yeah,
get a new pocket
yeah,
of fans there that tell their friends, and
and
then
that's one thing people always ask me. Is like, why don't you just try to build your following like in Austin or San Antonio? I'm like, because I don't want to see the same thing every time. Everywhere I go,
yeah,
you're building a following. You're meeting new people. You get people that follow your Instagram, your socials, your music.
yeah,
And
it's all networking.
I'm getting to go to new towns. Hell, I've been to some towns in Texas I didn't even know existed. You know,
Yeah,
I mean, so like it's just cool to go see all these different places, and it's just all the places and towns you go through on the way. It, I'd rather do that if I have to do that the rest of my life and never make it big, but I'm still playing music. I don't care. It's just it's the life of it is just I enjoy it. You know.
well, and that's. Would you say that's kind of your ultimate goal is just for it to be your career and make enough money to be able to keep doing it, right?
It is. It
And to
is.
make it have an income from it.
I mean, if I really make it to the top, then I make it to the top. But if I make it to where, I'm still playing Friday, Saturday nights at the local bar, at the end of the day, I still get to do what I love. You
Yeah,
know.
you're making money playing music. It's like
I mean,
that's the coolest
I
part.
don't know what God's plan is.
Yeah,
It's very apparent there's a plan there, but I don't know
yeah,
how far it is, and that's why I'm on His plan. I'm not on my plan. I'm just kind
yeah,
of I'm going with the flow here.
yeah. And you just do what you can and keep the
Exactly.
faith.
Exactly.
But when it's the same, for all the stuff I'm doing, every time I go to a show or go to a dance hall or anywhere like that, I'm always trying to like meet people or try to get at least one new contact or something
Right.
for what I'm doing. And it was like I was like, well, you were at Proof and Cooper, and look now you're on the podcast. So it's like,
I don't even
um,
I don't even know if it was my show that night. I don't even remember. No, it was. It was 23rd, right before Christmas, wasn't it?
22nd, or no, it was like maybe a couple weekends before. I'm
Yeah,
not sure,
dude.
but
I actually had to book that show because I needed extra money to help pay off my new engine in my truck. That's why I was there.
yeah, and
That's the joy of small town places like that. I mean, I walked in there one day after work. It's like, hey, bro. And talked to the owners like, my truck just broke down and needed a new engine. I need $200 more. Can I please play here this week? He was like, yeah, we got you, bro.
yeah,
So
absolutely.
shout out to Josh at Proof and Coopers for that one.
Yeah, and yeah, that place is awesome. By the way, they have some really good
It's a
food
cool
there
place,
too.
man.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
their food, like their that chicken fried steak, there like was one of the
isn't
best
it?
ones that I've ever had. And I was surprised.
Isn't it?
To be honest, I was like, I was
My
expecting it to be
favorite,
like good, but it was like this is
my
really
favorite
good.
meal there. My favorite meal there is their Nashville chicken tenders. It's like a standard chicken tender, but they put the Nashville hot sauce on it.
Oh
Boy, it's
yeah,
so good, but your butt starts to pucker when you get back home. I promise you that. But it goes down so nice.
so nice. It just doesn't. It's just not nice when it revisits you later.
Yeah, it's probably my favorite meal to eat before I play there.
Yeah, but and well, and yeah, and like you said, you never know what God has in store for you, and that's the that was your response the first time I messaged you. I think after we met the next day, I was like, hey, like let's stay in touch for the podcast. You're like,
Yeah.
yep, I believe this happened for a reason, and look, now we're doing it. But it was funny. I remember I got up to go, like, went to the bathroom. I think my wife had to go too, and I'm like waiting for her to come out. I'm like, oh, sorry, I moved out of the way, and they're like, hey, are you gonna be sticking around tonight? And I was like, huh? Like, I think you misheard what I said, and I was like, oh, are you playing? And you're like, yeah, and I was like, oh, hey, I have a podcast. Of course, I had a few drinks, so like, I hear like musician, and I'm like, oh, you should be on my show. But I tell everyone that I have a podcast that I mean, it's my thing.
Oh
But
man. Oh, it's funny because right after you said that, I was like, I went to my girlfriend. I was like, hey, I'm gonna be on a podcast show, and she was like, what? She was like,
but
so
I've improved now, man. I edit stuff now.
you had
I'd have to look
Brendan
it up.
Ryder on your show not that long ago, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I did.
This place I'm going to this weekend, I think Brandon just played there a few months ago, I think. I want to say. I'm not sure, but
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
he's an awesome songwriter and
Yeah,
great
he is.
storyteller too.
Yeah, he is.
And his whole dinner show thing is pretty cool too. He like for a fee, he will like show up to your house and like prepare a meal for you, and then also like play a show for you. So it's like a private show thing, but he's like really into cooking and stuff too. So he'll also like prepare like this like really fancy meal for you too. It
Oh,
was something he started during COVID, and like it took off, so he's been doing it after.
you were asking
Uh,
about upcoming shows to do. I mean, anybody can go look at my Facebook. Just type in Keaton Kyzar in the search bar, and on my cover photo, I got everything I have now in a picture from now to the end of April. It's kind of hard to fit that many shows in one picture, but I did it somehow. I'm
well,
honestly like
that's
I wouldn't be surprised if my voice goes out. Like I'm kind of scared about that. There's so many, man.
and
But
what do you do when you lose your voice? Eat honey and just hope it
well,
comes back, or what?
it's gonna sound like the weirdest thing, but my girlfriend got laryngitis a couple of years ago, and the doctor told her to breathe through a straw. I thought it was silly as all get out. Come to find out,
Yeah.
it works. It's actually something I don't just do whenever like I lose my voice, but I like every morning I keep a couple like fresh straws. Like if I go to McDonald's, I'm grabbing like 6 new straws, and I'll stick them in my visor of my truck. I'll go to work every morning. I'll breathe through a straw the whole entire way because it helps build apparently too. It helps me out.
Huh.
So like it was. I mean, the vocal cords are a muscle, man. You got to go to
Yeah.
the gym to build your muscles. I mean, vocal cords are the same way. There's different ways of exercising, but you have to exercise them to expect
Yeah.
them to last.
I'd never heard of that. I'm gonna try that next time I lose my voice
If you get
or
laryngitis, you'll
something.
hear it from a doctor, apparently.
Yeah. No, that's interesting. I've always heard like lemon juice or honey and stuff can help
Yeah.
bring
See,
it
I've
back
tried
too, but I
that.
don't know.
I
Yeah.
sometimes I'll mix like warm up some water in the microwave and put some honey in it, and it
Yeah.
works, but it doesn't like cure. You know what I mean? It just kind of
No,
helps.
it's more like it makes it not hurt.
It
Makes it not
what
hurt like
it's yeah. It's almost like an aid for a temporary time, is what it is. But like
yeah.
there has been some shows where like I'm like on the verge of losing my voice, and you'll see me on my breaks. I'm sitting there in the corner of the stage breathing through a freaking straw. Like everybody's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Don't worry about it." Oh man,
Well, Keaton, man, thanks for hanging out today here
no
with
problem,
us
man.
on
I
the Red Dirt
appreciate it.
Aggie Show. This has been the Red Dirt Aggie Show. I'm Bryan, the Red Dirt Aggie. That over there is Keaton Kyzar. Check him out if he's coming anywhere near you, or you want to drive somewhere to see him. You know, your music's on everywhere, right?
Yeah,
Spotify, iTunes,
Spotify,
all that.
anywhere you stream music, it's all there for you.
It's there. So look him up, give him a follow, give him a listen. We'll keep you posted on his new shows and content he's got coming out.
Yeah.
But as always, gig 'em and God bless. We'll see you next time.